Where's the person? Okay, so hello everyone. I am Sheena, and this is my fellow interviewer.
Hi, my name is ALYA.
And today, both of us will be interviewing our interviewee, which is Aisha. So, hello Aisha, can you introduce us briefly about yourself?
Hi.
Hi.
Okay. Hi guys. My name is Aisha and I go by the name Mermaid on my social media. I am part of the Booktok community where I talk about books on TikTok.
Okay, so there will be 10 questions in total. So, Alia, can you start?
Yes. Okay. So my first question to you is, when was the time that you actually considered reading to be a hobby, and do you remember the first ever book that you picked up?
Okay, so I actually started reading since I was a child. I was introduced to reading books, I think at an early age of 5. So ever since that, reading has been my hobby. I can't exactly remember the exact first book that I pick up, but I definitely remember growing up reading any licensed book.
Yes. Okay. That's a very typical thing to start whenever you're like,
Mm.
yeah. My parents start me with any blind things. So okay.
Yeah, that's the easiest way to start reading actually.
True. Okay. So my second question to you is, have you ever had a reading slump before, and how did you overcome that phase?
I actually do constantly go through reading slumps. Like around a couple of months, I would sometimes go through a very long period of reading slumps. But I usually overcome this by rereading my favorite books. Actually, for last year, I reread like several books. I reread even 2 times because I had gone through a very long time of reading slumps. So I just read all my favorite books again. So and then eventually I get to pick up new books after that.
Mm,
That's interesting. I might try that.
Oh,
She
you
just
should
asked
try
why the
because rereading your favorite books, it ignites your passion to read again. So yeah, it's definitely helpful.
right, okay.
okay, so we can see that some readers always put tags in their book. So, do you have that as well? And does the tags mean anything when you tag on your books?
Yeah, I do tab. I call it tabbing. I do tab my books. Maybe I can show an example. So yeah, I do tab my books a lot.
Wow.
I like tabbing and annotating my books because I will tab the things that I find important or things that I want to remember. Maybe some quotes, favorite quotes. And it's also helpful for me to go back to certain scenes when I review the books. So tabbing is actually it depends on each individual. Everyone tabs their books differently. So for me, I tab based on my emotions whenever I love the scene or I am sad during the scene or I am angry at someone in at the character in the book. So yeah, I do tab those scenes.
Uh, Maybe I should try tapping. I have books, but I never tap them. So, yeah.
Yeah,
It's,
you should start, especially on your favorite parts, because sometimes we do have favorite parts, but we forget where it is, so it's hard to find it again. So if you
Yes.
tap, it's you can easily go through that scene again and like, oh, I love this part.
You should
I
really
will
Yeah.
consider
start
doing
from
this.
now. Moving on to the fourth question. What is your favorite genre, and when did you realize that the specific genre was your cup of tea?
Okay, my favorite genre would be fantasy. I think I realized this after reading Annie Byton's books, all her fantasy books, and also I grew up reading Harry Potter books thanks to my mother. My mother introduced this to me. So I love all the magic and all the creatures in it. And then I realized that I really want to read more of this. So I have been reading a lot of fantasy books since then.
Hmm.
Interesting. Okay. So my next question to you is, if you were not a book lover or a book reader, but have suddenly come across book talk, would you have considered reading? Why?
I think I would actually consider reading. because of book talk because a lot of book talkers are very convincing in explaining about the books that they like, showing their emotions when they read the books, whether they cry or they scream or they love it so much. So I think if I am not a reader, I would definitely be convinced to start reading because of book talk.
Yeah, because they make it so interesting for no reason.
Yes.
Very eye catching.
Yeah, that's it.
Right. So, I heard from an article written by Kenna McTavish, 2021. He
Mhm.
talks about how the writer talks about who is a researcher of book culture, where she discusses on the book of phenomenon and how on TikTok dominant trends about what books to read are established quickly and effectively, enabled in part of TikTok's algorithm and how it targets like-minded individuals. So, what do you think of the statement? And do you agree?
I I think I do agree with that statement because through TikTok's algorithm, when you view a certain video and then you interact with it, you engage with it, whether you like or you comment on it, so TikTok's algorithm will show you more videos of the same kind. So it's helpful for individuals to find the kind of books, on BookTok. So it's easy for them to find the kind of books that they want to read more. So like basically saying if they constantly view videos on romance books or fantasy books, they will definitely be able to find more book talkers talking about those kinds of books. So I do agree with what the article said.
Mm. Okay,
That's interesting.
the next question is, according to an article written by Alicia 2021, she stated that, quote unquote, while this might sound like a reductive way to talk about books, the sisters who are book influencers know that these memes are an effective ruse to entice readers. So what do you think of the statement and do you agree with that?
Yes, this one I do agree. Even though I am actually bad at memes, but I do have a lot of friends that like to use memes when expressing their emotions about certain books. So they use memes that sometimes are funny, sometimes are relatable.
Yeah.
So I think that this is helpful to describe their emotions through reading the book. Either that or the aesthetics thing. Yeah, so that one is helpful to describe what a book is about visually. So some people they don't like people telling them, "Oh, this book is about this and that." So there's like, "Oh, okay, all right, it's okay." So, but when they see this kind of aesthetics or memes, it's helpful for them to visualize what the book is about. So if they like it, they will definitely read the book.
Hmm,
So yeah, I do agree with what the article said.
I think I have to agree with what you said because me as not as an avid reader, but I also read and I also go through book talk and I can see that I am much more interested in books that um, when a book to influencer visualize what they are reading. So I think it
Yes.
helps. Mm-hmm.
It's
So
definitely helpful, yeah.
yeah, so moving on to the next question. There was an article written by Sabrina Keenan, 2020, where she said that she feels right at home while watching BookTok content, and she also shared on how she was usually made fun of for loving a well-known series like Harry Potter, for example, a little too much. So, have you ever been in such situation, and do you agree with her statement?
I think fortunately, I have not been in the same situation where people make fun of what I love. It's either that or I am oblivious with what people said because I don't really mind. If people wants to judge me for what I love, then it's their problem. I will keep on doing what I love. Okay, so she said that book talk feels like home. So I think it's a given because when you are surrounded with people that likes the same thing that you love, you will definitely feel at home. So I know how that feels because when I go to book talk, and I see people talking about books that I personally love as well. So that's why I find, oh, this person likes the same thing as me. This person likes the same thing as me. So like, oh, I feel I feel seen. Like we like the same thing.
Yeah.
I even made friends through book talk, and because we have the same favorite book, so we've been best friends since then. So yeah, I think it is a given that book talk is home for some of us.
It sounds fun. I feel like whenever they see, I read the article and I think Booktok is like a form of fandom because many fandoms come together just to
Yes, yes,
on
yes,
that one
yes.
specific app. So
Mm.
I find that quite heartwarming.
Yes, I do.
Yes, because on BookTok, people post their faces and all talking about this book and
Yeah.
that, so we see their expression, so we know the same feeling. So yeah,
Okay.
it is home.
So the next question is that another writer from another article questioned if some book talkers book talk influencers pick books based on the aesthetic of the covers and how they look on the shelf instead of their literacy value. And the majority of the article then discusses about the book talk recommendations and how she reviews and rates them. And from the article itself, I can see that she was quite underwhelmed by the recommendation itself. So, has this situation
Mm.
ever happened to you before? And what is your opinion on the writer's claims?
Okay, so I think I kind of disagree with what the author is saying because I don't like it when people judge what other people read, because if they want to read pretty books or books that they find good looking on their shelves, then I think they should do it. That's what they want. People should not police what others want to read. As for being underwhelmed by the suggestions on Book Talk, I think because everyone has their own preference.
Yes.
So just because a book is hyped on Book Talk doesn't mean that it's your taste. So it's more like I don't want to say it's kind of a gamble. So like if people are saying this book is very good and all, but then you find it not good, then it's okay.
Mm,
It's your own preference. So I think people should just be free to read whatever they want.
I agree.
Yeah. Alright.
Yeah. Even if they just want pretty books, then it's okay.
It's very eye pleasing.
Yeah.
And it makes
Mm,
the
yes.
shelf much more cuter. For my case at least.
It's so good, Michelle.
So the last question is, with the help of
Okay.
student who was burdened with academic demand began to find the joy of reading again. So this is what was mentioned by Ruby Gara 2021. So have you noticed any of your close friend or someone you know who is not a reader began to start reading because of TikTok, because of book talk?
Okay. I actually do have friends that started reading because of book talk. I remember some friends back then where we never talk about books at all, but now slowly we have been talking about books a lot ever since they joined the book talk. So I think book talk is very convincing in attracting people to start reading again, and that includes my friends as well.
Mm,
Okay. That's interesting. I might ask
Mm,
my friends to watch Booktok with me. I then Sheena.
yeah, because book talk is like very short. It's less than 1 minute, so people can
Yeah.
just scroll through very quick.
mm,
Like if we compare it to Bookstagram people can see the all the flatly photos and all, but sometimes they're too lazy to read the captions, right?
mm,
But book talk,
Yes.
everything is visualized for you, so it's easy for them. That's why it's more convincing actually.
yeah.
Yeah, understand? Alright. So sadly, this is the end of the interview. Again, thank you so much, Aisha, for agreeing to do this interview with us. And we are
Okay,
very,
sure.
I think we got a lot of knowledge just from your point of view, especially since you're really
Mhm.
immersed in the book talk community.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Mhm.
Tina, do you want to say anything? No?
No, actually, I just want to say that we're very thankful for your cooperation, and once again, I thank you for being able to free your time to have this short interview. So yeah, I think that's all for me.
Okay, yeah, sure. All right. Thank you as well for trusting me to do this interview. I hope that my answers are helpful for you guys.
Yes.
It really was actually. Alright. So okay. Dah.
Thank
Your
Okay.
turn.
you. Bye.
Yeah, that's all.
Okay.
Okay.